Alright guys, another build video, another Warframe, Chroma. Simple, straightforward when you're thinking about Chroma, man. And also guys, if you haven't done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And make sure to follow on this channel. Make sure you hit the bell for notifications so you could catch my next video. Alright. Now, as far as with Chroma, he's practically simple. Just gonna come down to his second ability and his third ability. You're gonna talk about the elemental warding, and I'm also gonna talk about the Vex armor because those two abilities for him is his bread and butter. His first and his fourth, it just depends on personal preference. His first ability is just gonna come down to blowing all of the flames on people's face. Low level enemies don't have a chance when you use his first ability. His fourth ability, if you want to get a whole bunch of credits, so be it. You just have to have a whole bunch of efficiency on that. Put the skin out there, let it do what it needs to do, and you're gonna start racking up all them credits. Now, when it comes down to his second and third ability, as I said before, it's his bread and butter. Now, this is my strongest build for Chroma. You could build him however you so choose, but this is how I build for him, depending on my playstyle and all of that. I got Prime Flow in here with Narrow Minded to go along with Prime Continuity. These are my two duration mods. Now I got Transient in there, and it will mess up my duration just a little, but not too much. I got Blind Rage in there to go along with Intensify, Augur Secrets, Umbral Vitality, and I have Power Drift to go along with Rejuvenation. Alright? Now, as far as with these abilities right here, Elemental Ward to go along with Vex Armor. Now, when you have Vex Armor on, when your shields are hit, you and nearby allies' armor grows stronger. So when you're next to Chroma, you'll get the benefit as far as with your armor getting stronger. And when your health takes a hit, your weapon damage increases. Depending on the color scheme you have for your Chroma dictates to this. So if you have Fire Chroma on you, because I see I have 3 builds and whatnot. So for my Ice Chroma, what he does is if you hit him, he will slow you down. But also, since my shields will be taking hits, my armor will go stronger. So you must be like, alright, it'll be practically simple. Have a lot of shields on him so that once you have enough damage done to your shields, you will have a whole bunch of armor. But even with that being said, depending on how strong the enemies are, having a whole bunch of shields is not going to make much difference, because all it takes is a bombard shot to you and your armor will be at peak level. Because once you have a whole bunch of power strength like you see for me, armor increase for me will be 1,218 and my damage increase will be 957. Alright? And of course with the Elemental Ward, that just goes along with whatever element you have. So since I have Ice, as you see by the animation, when enemies shoot me, they will slow up. Simple. That's when it comes down to Chroma. Depending on the elemental type that you have on him, he will slow enemies down with Ice. If you have Fire, you will have health increase. When you have Electric, which is obviously Thunder in this case, an enemy shoots you, an electric spark will go right at the enemy. Depending on how much range you have, it will send a shock to that enemy, shocks them, stuns them. The Toxic one is the last one. That's for utility purposes, to have toxin damage, and also you could have reload. But his most potent ones are Cold and Fire. Now, as far as with the enemies that I'm about to deal with right here, it's just gonna come down to the 2 abilities right here. Now, as you can see, those guys are getting shocked all over the place. And as far as with my build right here for Chroma, once they hit me just enough, I will be able to deal as much damage to these guys as possible. And since I have the Gerudo on, this goes with Chroma extremely well. And since for Chroma, that's all he practically needs. So as you can see right there, 957, 895. And since with my Cold, they don't have much of a chance. And since with the Gerudo, every time you land a critical hit, you would get that rejuvenation on. So you're talking about with these melee weapons on with him, plus I also have Arcane Grace. My Chroma is indestructible depending on how I play and utilize him. He is indestructible. Alright. So as you can see, with the Haruto on to go along with Arcane Grace, Chroma could keep taking hit after hit after hit. I could hit enemies to get my health back. Arcane Grace will give me health back as well. Rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. So right there, Arcane Grace with the Guardian on as well. So I'm just stacking armor on top of what I already have depending on my build with the Vex armor and the Elemental Ward. Elemental Ward is practically just for damage multiplier purposes. And the Vex armor is where he shines the brightest. Chroma is still one of the tankiest frames in the game. Even with his rework, I don't know why people keep saying Chroma is weak. Chroma is never weak. He's never weak. Just don't bother with his first ability or his fourth ability. If you're going into a long survival, you're gonna need to keep up your second and your third ability, especially your third, because that's where your armor and your damage multiplier will be coming from. All right. Now, if you're gonna go fire, that's just gonna go off of your health. So as far as with fire, once I go over to that side, as far as with fire, my duration is not at the 226, as you can see. It's just 156 and the range is 100, but my strength is still up. It's still up there some, but my health is increased because, again, the more health you have, the more weapon damage you will be doing. As you see, remember, for the Vex armor, when your shields take damage, that's when your armor goes, but when your health takes that hit, you get more weapon damage increase. That's why fire goes well with this, depending on how much health you put on your Chroma. So that's why with this one I have vitality in there, and the only difference between this build and the ice, I just swap out narrow-minded with prime vigor so I could have more health. That's it. More health. And I have constitution in there just so that I could have some kind of recovery when I do get knocked down, if it does happen. But it's there just to be there. So 324 on that. As you can see, 891 versus the 900 change for my ice build. Armor increase is still probably on the lower end because of the strength, but it's only because my damage increase. All right, so it'll be the same thing right here. I'll have more health. All right, so once I get these guys out, you'll see how much health I'll have, and then it'll be the same thing with these guys. Take that. Hold on. I kind of messed up here. This is the same ice one. Hold on. Let me redo that. Kill those guys right quick. I forgot to change my element. Even though this is the build for it. Let me change my Chroma right quick. So there he goes. All right. So let me replay that again. See how there goes my health increase right there. So that's how it's supposed to be. As you can see right there, the health is still at peak. There's a lot to go around right there. Keep blocking, and then all of a sudden I could go ham on them guys right there. So even though that guy on the other side could still hit me and whatnot, but just because my health is peaked out, I can still land my punches on this guy. And see how I'm able to keep up the armor up. Even though my elemental ward went away, you gotta keep looking at your Vex armor. Even though you cannot recast your elemental ward, keep this up. Keep your Vex armor up. As long as you keep your Vex armor up, the 891, the 1134 will still be there. Remember, the elemental ward is just there for you to get damage multiplier. As far as with the armor and the damage increase, that's from Vex armor. Elemental ward is just there for you to get one benefit, and then once it's gone, it's gone. You have to recast it again. Alright? So this, you just get health and damage a second, depending on your elemental alignment. Once it's gone, it's gone. This, keep recasting it. Because once it goes, you got to build it up again. And once it's peaked out, it's peaked out. You just have to keep it up. Alright? So that's practically Chroma in a nutshell. There's really nothing else to go on with Chroma or add on as far as with, oh, why don't you put this in there? You can put this in there. It depends on the elemental type that you're running with Chroma. So if you're running, also, if you're running thunder, which is electricity, you gotta watch your elemental spark. As far as once the enemy hits you, it will send out a shock towards that enemy, stunning them, which is your opening to do something. So let me see right quick. Okay, this is my electricity. You can see it based off of the elemental. So this is my electric Chroma right here. So what I'm going to be doing with this build is I'm actually going to use a weapon this time. And I'm not going to have, I'm not going to be using my melee weapon. I'm just going to use like one enemy just to demonstrate what I'm talking about. So let me see if I can bring him out right quick. Get that heavy gunner out there. See that? See that shock right there? As soon as he shot me, he already got shocked right there. And that's your opportunity to do something. And as you see right there, there goes that 1043% right there. Now, as far as with electric Chroma, as you see, or as I call him, thunder Chroma, that 1043. You want to talk about stacking something there. As far as with the electric Chroma, it's just going to come down to the shock as far as enemies hitting you. And then also the shockwave hitting them, practically stunning them. So that's just thunder Chroma in a nutshell right there. It's just going to come down to when they shoot you and the arc hits them. It's like, okay, now that's my window to do something because now they're stunned. Alright? So, Thunder Chroma, as you see, he still has good amount of power strength, but it's just going to come down to the utility side when it comes down to Thunder Chroma. As you see. Just have elemental ward, and once elemental ward is up, as you can see, shield capacity, you get more shields, status, damage multiplier. But when you go to your thunder elemental side, you see a shield capacity, so you have more shields. That's why it's best to have shields on your Chroma. And better yet, you could go like this. Let's see if I can actually pull it with this as well. Hold on. Actually, nah, I don't think you can. So you might have to go like this. I'm gonna see if I can find it. I'm trying to look for that mod that gives you more shields. Okay, here it goes. This. So you can have 920. So now I have 920 on me right now. And I'm gonna go back out there again. So now it's 13 and change. So see, he gets stunned right there. And once he shoots me again, he's gonna get stunned yet again. And by the time he comes back again, he should most likely be dead. So you see, there goes Scorn, because my shields were getting damaged. So you could do a lot with Thunder Chroma. Fire Chroma just goes off of his health. Ice Chroma just comes off with them hitting you and they get slowed up. This Chroma just comes down to utility and the whole shocking purposes. But as far as with looks, Thunder Chroma looks freaking awesome. It's just gonna come down to you noticing which enemy is stunned and you taking advantage of the shock being able to hit that enemy. Alright? Toxic Chroma, it's just gonna come down to toxin and reload speed purposes when it comes to that side of Chroma. Alright? Like weapons that have a long reload animation, have that Toxic Chroma out, then you will see the benefits of Toxic Chroma. But as far as with the 3 chromas that I roll with, is Thunder, Fire, and Cold. That's practically it when it comes down to Chroma in the end. Alright? So, you can have Thunder, Fire, and Ice. But what are you guys builds when it comes down to Chroma? Because in the end, you're going to need a lot of strength. You're going to need duration. As far as with range only matters with Thunder Chroma. Ice, you don't need to worry about range when it comes down to Ice. Fire, you don't need to worry about it. I just have it at base level, so it really doesn't matter with Fire. But Thunder, you need range because of the shock being able to go out and hit that target once they hit you. So that's practically Chroma in its full glory. Alright? So there that goes, man. Check you guys on